First, I will invite Stephen to discuss a little bit about the approach of sustainability in the network of the Fablabs, let's say. So, Stephen.
Hello, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Just did a screen capture to highlight some of the work done by individual Fab Lab. I mean, for instance, Fab Labs has always been very focused on their local community. For instance, Vegan Ashram in India, they provide work-centric education, enterprise development, rural technology. Bohol in the Philippines, they look at plastic recycling into products to provide jobs for the community, creating souvenirs, using local materials into education and stuff like that. Nairobi, for example, the Fab Lab, they design and build medical devices for the national hospital there, phototherapy machines and stuff like that. So basically, Fab Lab is very much into sustainable practices, and a lot of the things that we do are aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. In fact, there's a community within the Fab Lab network led by Peter Van the Heijden, who looks at the Fab Lab maker spaces and the alignment with the UN SDG. May this year, he came up with an interactive map, which you could click on the link in the presentation. They'll bring you to the various Fab Labs across the world and what they are doing in the Sustainable Development Goals. And together with that, there's actually a manual on how you can register your Fab Lab to be part of this, as well as a toolkit for aligning your Fab Lab with the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so that's a mind map. I mean, you can go back to the previous slide. Okay, so that's active link. Now, another major focus on the Fab Lab community was actually started off as a DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So that morphed into the Fab All-in. That means how to create a Fab Lab community. Next slide. That is for everyone and includes all topics. So this is a program that runs on a yearly basis by the Acad of Many Things community. So for instance, in this year, we ran the Fab All-in project. And if you look at the topics, so this includes the gender equality, the providing the digital fabrication technology access to everybody, economic vitality, the floating Fab Lab in the Amazon to bring natural sustainable practices and a whole lot of other stuff, and finding solutions for the respective communities. Okay, next slide. All right, so that's some examples of it. So Fab All-in is for anyone, everyone, and all topics belong to it. And that's a list of some of the speakers for the lecturers, presenters for this year's Fab All-in. So next slide. Okay, so these are some more examples of what the Fab Lab does. So you've got the biocarbon engineering reforestation project from the UK, solar project from Burkina Faso, Africa. You've got the floating Fab Lab in the Amazon from Peru, and then the African Prisons project in Uganda, where they bring the education technology to the people who are incarcerated there. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so I can't complete the Fab Lab network, what we're doing without including the Fab City project. So this started off in Barcelona in 2014, because at that time, Barcelona was undergoing a sort of revitalization, and we had the Fab conference there. So the mayor of Barcelona at that point decided how can they revitalize the city? So decided, okay, why not, instead of doing the traditional method of cities where you've got products in, trash out, so how can they turn the city into a circular kind of economy where minimum 50% of the products that's consumed by the city is produced locally. So instead of products in, trash out, now with the Fab City project, what you do is that data in, data out. So by just sharing the data, you can actually produce most of at least 50% of the contents locally, but this is over a 40-year time frame. because the Fab City project now includes about 40 plus cities and states and countries around the world. And it's morphed into the Fab City Global Initiative led by Thomas Diaz, who's currently based in Bali. Right, next slide. And I think that's Julia.
Yeah.
Julia.
Well, this is what Stephen was talking about, the approach of Fab City Foundation into the circular economy, and it's more about geographic dimension, right? It's about like trying to have local production in cities and try to work more around sharing data instead of sharing products, right? Also related to that, if we go a little bit far away, we can talk about the shift that we should, or the frame about circular economy, which try to shift from a linear economy that goes to take, make, use, dispose, and waste, which is the traditional economy that has been going around since the Industrial Revolution, into a circular economy that the main idea here is try to keep materials in the loop longer, making designs that last longer and that use the materials in a more efficient idea. But during the whole flow, it tries to understand how these materials, raw materials that are already in the system, can keep in the system through different alternatives. One of them, obviously, it's the recycling, but there are other ideas. In this circular economy, it's a really complex thing that targets a lot of different approaches, and it is all about having a system approach to change, right? And there are several frameworks and models that are there trying to focus on one of these parts. This is one of them. This is the butterfly diagram. It was made by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which is, I guess most of you already know it, but if you don't, you should check it out. It's one of the foundations that did the conceptualization of circular economy, and there are also a lot of educational resources that you can use and bring into your own practice. All of it is around the topic of circular economy. These is another one of the really common models, which is the 7 R's of waste reduction. It's trying to think on different ways that we can avoid waste, and all of them are with it starts with an R. We have rethink, refuse, reduce, rot, reuse, repurpose, and recycle, right? As we can see, most of circular economy idea is try to be smart on the way that we work with resources, and try to just find ways that we can have them in the loop of consume longer and smarter. Here we leave you this lecture. This lecture tries to bring a little bit all together, like the circular economy and circular making with the Fablab environment and the maker movement. And it is a lecture about what is the role that makers and maker movement should or is already having in these circular making, right? If you have some time, you should try to check it out, because it's a really interesting lecture. Obviously, sustainability is something that it's been there for quite a while now, and as it is one of these important topics, it has already become an important topic to try to land it and focus it into education. And it's been shifting, or not shifting, but also gaining a role into education. It's moving from like just a policy argument into something that should be brought into education. And the idea is that we find a way that we can actually do it easier and engaging students into this. This is a philosophy that we think works best with the idea, well, not just circularity and sustainability, but almost with everything, right? Trying to work up from bottom up, trying to work and with co-design and co-creation, including the part of circularity, not just in the output, but try to have it through all the whole process of the making and the teaching, right? Into the reflection from the beginning to the end. Also try to work with communities, both locally, but also having the opportunity of working with our stakeholders surrounding both the school and the learning community. Also using the competencies and the socio-emotional approach and the personal, like the interest from both learners and teachers, right? We wanted to show you some case studies about this. This is Remix the School. This is a project that we did a few years ago in Barcelona with 10 schools and 20 teachers. It was it is very relevant because it brings up with the activity, the task that you are asked to do this week. The idea was to give teachers the tools and the resources to make their own biomaterials with food waste. So they had to do the whole thinking around picking up food waste, thinking how this is a problem, like having all this narrative around it, and from giving them the necessary training on how to make them, they had to do a field activity as well with their students. These are a few of the examples that they did with their students. Some of them work around the textures. When you make biomaterials, working with different food waste allows you to achieve different textures, which is interesting when you're working with younger kids, because like the manipulation is quite important. Some of them mostly work around just like making a library of materials, how different recipes got different behaviors. And also we wanted to show you another project that it's about to be finished now. It's called SCORE. This works around circular economy in education in a broader way. So the idea is to make online platform where there are different learning tools and learning materials for teachers to work around digital, around circular economy. There are some more maker approach activities, but there are also some more theoretical ones. You can check out the platform, and if you're interested in having or checking out some of the tools that we use in Remix the School, they are accessible through the platform as well.